Or like when I go take like a course or something, some people who know way more than I do, I try to take photos or video or something of the system all set up, and then you can use that as a helpful reference. So if you're interested in that, feel free. But you can't sell this on the internet without our consensus. Okay, we're going to try to keep this as simplified as we can. So we're going to go kind of slow through all the different steps so that everyone hopefully will grasp each concept. And then ask questions along the way if something doesn't make sense. Okay? So in this scenario, right, we've got a 3-person rope team. The backpack is going to be our 3rd person. The backpack's the one who ends up falling into the crevasse. That could be the person in the front or the person in the rear. It wouldn't matter. Okay. Justin isn't pre-rigged right now, and we talked about how it can be advantageous to pre-rig. I could even put my foot prussic on the rope, but if Justin has his foot prussics on one side of the rope, and then somebody falls in and he needs to switch them over, then he's going to have to do that anyways. Does that make sense? So it's a 50-50 chance if you're in the middle. If we were in the front or in the back, if we rigged them up, there's only one way we're going to end up going. Okay? Does that make sense? So the steps that we're going to go through, first off, we're going to arrest the fall. Okay? Everyone here, we all know how to arrest the fall. The second step is we're going to build an anchor. So we've had you all build anchors. I'm going to build one just so you can see how the whole process works together. And then the last step, after we've constructed a bomber anchor, an earnest anchor, we're going to go down and check on the victim. Okay. Then once all that's completed, we'll start setting up the mechanical advantage system. Okay. And what we're going to set up is a simple 3-to-1 mechanical advantage system. Okay. So if you just want to pull on this rope here, if I'm pulling, you're just anchored, and I'm pulling, what would this be? 1-to-1. 1-to-1, right? Okay. So now if we clip that through the carabiner, this is kind of like what we did yesterday. Now I've got how much of the force on this load? 50%, right? And then 50% on this load, right? Okay, so this is a 2-to-1. So for those of you who we dropped a carabiner down the other day, we were just using a simple 2-to-1 mechanical advantage system, and then we built a 3-to-1 on the surface. Okay, that just gives you a little bit of an idea. The whole thought process behind the mechanical advantage is, if we were just out on a 3-person rope team and we didn't have another group of 3 or 2 other groups of 3 next to us, that whole team haul wouldn't really work, right? Because we don't have another team. It's just us. So this is going to be in the instance where you were out traveling in the mountains with your friends and one of them happens to fall in potentially. Now you know how to set up this 3-to-1 mechanical advantage system. We'll start out with a 3-to-1. If we have time or later on, we could show a 6-to-1. But basically what a 3-to-1 means, does anybody know? If I pull 3 feet, how much do I actually gain? 1. I gain 1 foot. Okay. And like the other day when you were practicing prussiking, did you notice how it felt like it took a long time for all the rope stretch to go out? So it's going to be the same with this. Okay. It takes a while for you to get all this stretch out of these dynamic ropes before they actually start. Go ahead and throw Justin an ice axe. Or you've got one. Cool. Okay. So the gear that... Take a step or two that way. The gear that you'll want to have with you is you'll be carrying your ice axe with you in your hand, and then you'll have one shovel with you, okay? And you'll see why you need the shovel. This is
spinal fracture waiting to happen.
I know. It's like waiting to break my ankle.
Got a same slip?
Thought about bringing one. Bandanas. I got some ace.
Danny and I will help get the rope set up for you. So the extra rope in my backpack is just butterfly coiled. So we'll measure the ropes out, mainly so someone doesn't go in further than we want you to, although you will be on a backup. And then the rest you'll butterfly coil into your backpack. Okay. And the person in the front of the rope team, such as myself right now, you will put a waist prussic on. So this is no different than what we've been doing up to this point. Okay.
And we're traveling this way?
Yep, we're traveling this way.
Alright.
Whenever you're ready.
Maybe one more step back this way.
I'm not going to have a hard time arresting in this.
No.
You already got your buckets. Yeah, I was
All
going to say,
right.
you're already arrested.
Bowling! I can stand here.
Okay. So, A, arrest the fall. Now at this point, we are both holding some of the weight, but Justin is going to have the majority of it. So Justin, do you feel like you've got good buckets and you can hold the fall?
I'm in up to my knees.
Okay, great. That's what I want to hear. Alright, so it's probably pretty unlikely, but just because we've already got one person in and we don't want two people in and then Justin stranded in the middle, what could I do to protect myself as I move up to Justin? Prussic myself in, right? Okay. So, as I'm walking up towards Justin, I'm going to prussic my way up, and it probably doesn't hurt, since one person's already in a hole, to use my ice axe, and every couple steps, as I tighten myself in, because now if I fall in a hole, it's only going to be rope stretch between Justin and I, right? Okay. So as I'm prussicking my way into Justin, I'm just checking for any other crevasses. Lift your ice axe up. There you go. Okay. So, the person who's in this position, they're going to be there potentially for a while. If it was one-on-one, they would have to go ahead and just kind of work your way up to your knees a little bit. Maintain this position while they built an anchor. Okay. So if you had a full load, can you feel this at all?
Oh yeah.
You can feel that weight a little bit. But even if you had Amy down there, you'd still be able to feel her. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do.
So and you just, I basically build one here and build one here.
Yep. So you can just kind of hang in that position if you don't mind.
Yeah, not at all.
So I rested the fall. What's B?
Build an anchor?
Build an anchor. Nice. Okay. And as our good friend Stuart likes to say, if you've met him or heard us referencing him, the person in the hole is having a bad day, not you. Okay? You don't want to be also having a bad day. So if you set up a mediocre anchor and then things start to fail systematically after that, then all three you might be having a bad day. Okay? So you want to take the time to do it right, but make sure it is timely too. Okay, it's kind of like our anchor systems. At this point, I'm just going to pull this rope out because it's easier if I don't have my backpack on, and the rope's kind of heavy. So my goal, once I've gotten to this point, is I want my master point to be just about in line with where Justin is. Okay? So if I get out my master point, because then I'm going to connect what onto the rope? Any guesses? A prussic onto the rope? Okay? Because I want to get him out of the system. So if I get out my master point, end up somewhere in this area, preferably not a whole lot lower than his knot, that's going to be ideal. Okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll just do a couple of quick T-slots. No, yeah, it'll be fine. One thing that you really want to be careful of, so I got my anchor here, you don't want to trap your rope, okay? So I want to keep my climbing rope on top of everything. Does that make sense? Because if I start trapping it underneath, it could get stuck, and then I'm going to have a heck of a time trying to figure out a new game plan for how to get it undone.
When you say trapping it, what do you mean?
Like if I started having this rope come underneath here,
Got it.
and then we had a ton of load on this, it's going to be hard for me to get it out of here.
Okay.
So just try to keep your ropes and cords as clean as you can. Okay. So that's about what we're looking for right here. Okay. We'll just leave these open now. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a couple different options here. Actually, I have quite a few different options. If I needed, let's say that my master point was 5 feet up in front of us here. If we needed a longer piece of material, you have a foot pressing on you?
That's it.
This one?
No, this one.
This one, okay. So I'm just going to show you a couple different things here. Sometimes you don't get, or you're not able to get your anchor lined up exactly how you want it. For our examples here, we're going to have you line up so that your hip is pretty close to the master point of this anchor. Okay. But let's say that let's say I built my anchor, but Justin was this far away. Okay. If I tried to use a waist prussic and I attach this onto the rope, it doesn't reach. Does everyone see how that is? Because the next step is I'm trying to get Justin out of the system. I'm trying to transfer the load of the backpack onto the anchor. Okay? So I've got different things I could use. One would be my foot prusik. Okay? So this would be one item that I could use. So the next step is I'm going to go ahead and add a prusik. Onto the rope. And if it's close enough, I'll just use a waist prusik. But if I have more distance, I could use a foot prusik. What's another item if we haven't used it for the anchor that's available? Or cordelette, right? Cool. Okay. I've got these two little loops conveniently located on the end of this. Okay. Here's an example of where I don't want to trap the rope. Okay. If I had the rope underneath like this, and then I clipped this in, it's going to be that much more difficult, because now I could get Justin to unclip from here, But if I needed him to stay clipped in, and I needed him to move over here, he'd have to crawl underneath. And he wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, he'd be trapped. So keep your climbing rope on top. The best way is to clip and then flip. So the gate is open and up. Okay. I don't want to shock load my anchor, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this down. Okay. So are we all pretty good so far? So what do we do first?
Made the anchors.
Rest the fall,
Right.
then we built an anchor, and then what do we do here?
Take the load
Prussic
off.
to take the load off.
Take the load off. Yeah.
Transfer the load. Okay. That could be done with a lot of different items. If I was close enough, you could just use a waist prussic. If it was further away, I might want to use a foot prussic. Okay.
So how do you keep that from being like a single point of failure?
That's a good question. We're about to answer that. Okay. So, if I built a really good anchor, then I really shouldn't have anything to worry about. Go ahead and put that back on. But I would really hate, because we haven't quite backed up our anchor yet, I want to get Justin out of the system. But if we went and unclipped him out of the system, and he's still holding some of the weight on him, we haven't fully released the weight onto that prussic yet, and all of a sudden our anchor failed, and if I was just kind of standing here haphazardly, I wouldn't be in a very good position, and then we could all get pulled in. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to go just in front of Justin a little ways, and I'm going to be kind of ready to go in a self-arrest. Okay, Justin? So why don't you go ahead and get up, stand up, and then slowly release that weight onto that prussic. So you can just go ahead and stand up and move back a little bit. Okay? It's nice to know. Sweet. So, at this point, just because we know this is a safe area already, and just to less complicate things, we're just going to have you unclip from your butterfly. If we were concerned and we didn't want you just walking off, before you unclipped, we could clip you into the anchor. So then you'd be safe.
Like with cordelette or something?
With a cordelette or a sling
And with
or
the clove hitch, or what would you do?
clove hitch, figure eight, doesn't matter. Okay.
And it would be at the master point also?
Could be at the master point, or what was this called?
The shelf.
The shelf, right. Okay. So, as Phil mentioned, we never want to rely on just one system. Okay. Because, as we can all see here, if any of this prussic was to fail, we don't have a backup. Does everyone see that? So, what could we do with this section right here to create a backup?
Figure eight on a bite.
Okay, figure eight on a bite, clove hitch. Either of those would work. If you get up here and you can't remember how to do the clove hitch, just tie a figure eight on a bite, and that'll work. If you remember how to do a clove, go ahead and use that. Reason being, what?
You can adjust it.
I can adjust it, right? Okay. So now I've taken out most of the slack in the system. So we're not going to shock load anything. If our primary system were to fail, this prussic, our backup isn't going to get shock loaded. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So after we transferred the load with some sort of prussic, then what did we do?
Back up.
Back it up.
Back the system up. Okay. And we got Justin out of the system.
But that's just if the prussic weren't loose. I mean, if the anchors weren't done, you're done, period.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to self-arrest.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So, if the anchor's below, then you got bigger things to worry about. Alright. So,
You want me to just get out of your way?
yeah, you can just move it up so you can watch. So we rested the fall, we built an anchor, we transferred the load. what's the next step?
Check on the patient.
Check on our buddy, right? So, one thing that you will find is that if you can keep your rope pretty tighty, you're going to have a lot easier time of this. So, rather than carrying around all this rope in my backpack, I've got this nice butterfly coil here. I'm just going to lay that down, or I could flake it out, but just take your time to get all the extra cord and whatnot out of your way, because otherwise it's just going to turn into a big old nightmare. Okay. Another thing, if you miss this step, it is important. We always, anytime we have this is an open system right here. Okay, this system hasn't been closed at this point. So ideally, we want to close the system if we have the rope. So I would tie a figure 8 on a bight and clip this in. Okay, I might be using some of this rope to move around, so I'm just going to quickly stack it off to the side here for now, so I know it's not going to turn into some big old snarl fest later on and cause me a bunch of problems.
I'm glad that happens to you too.
Oh yeah, it happens to everyone.
This morning I was like, why is this thing all balled up?
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot better to get it undone now than when you really need it for when you start hauling or something like that. Okay. So I'm just trying to clean this all up, get all the weird stuff out. So I got the end of the rope here. This is all flaked out. I'll just clip this into the shelf so I have more room for other spaces in the master point.
What's that do by closing the system?
By closing the system, I want to use this prussic here to slide down to the lip. What I could do for an added backup is measure approximately how far I think it's going to be from here to the lip. But if I wasn't thinking, and I didn't end up doing that, if I went to the edge of the lip there and ended up falling in, then at least I would be stopped eventually.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So I might measure out a distance. Sorry, this is my fault. I got this twisted up a little bit. just want to fix this before I keep going.